everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra if you haven't been here before, and today we're going to do karaoke makeup. It's not date night, I'm going by myself, actually meeting up with a whole bunch of girlfriends at our regular karaoke place, and I thought I would bring you along for my makeup journey. Alright, so first I'm going to spray some toner. This is the Caudalie Beauty Elixer. I love how herbally that smells. It's so fresh and just invigorating. I'm also using what's left of my One Size Secure the Sweat. I don't have a lot of this left, but I do have another, I believe I have another tube. I've been kind of like switching back and forth with my primers recently, and I'm not going to sweat. It's actually pretty cool out. Actually, I've kind of got a chill on right now, to be honest. So I'm smoothing this everywhere. I did moisturize earlier after my shower. I actually put some skin oil on, and then I went ahead and put cream. And my face feels nice and good and moisturized. And now we're just doing some priming. So I really want to do like a fall eye look. So I'm kind of leaning more towards like the red and the brown tones. So I'm going to find a palette that has some of those tones in it. I think I'm going to mix a few palettes. I'm going to go into the Rose Metals palette. I've also got the Patrick Ta for eyes here. This is the original one. I really like the browns that are in here. Like the sparkly brown is really pretty. And oops, I get my fan out of the way. I also brought out the red in the Nars Summer Solstice. It is a summer palette, you guys, but it's kind of got the tone that I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to do eyes first because I don't want any fallout down here. And that always happens when I do my eyes and I do like dark brown shadows or red. So with that being said, I'm going to prime my lid. I'm using my, I'm just going to use, is that too dark for me? Nah, this is the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot, and this is the shade Laying Low. It's a little bit of a darker shade than the other one that I use, but it's still going to be fine. It's more my skin tone, and this is my newest one, so it's not quite as dried down as the other one. So I'm just popping that all over the lid. It's going to give a nice solid base for me to apply my shadow. Okay, so you can see like it kind of cancels out the veins, cancels out the redness and the blue if there's any there from the veins. Okay, so where I want to start here is with a little bit of the darker brown. So I'm going to first dip into the Patrick Ta, the dark brown shade here. These are both kind of like primers, I guess, really. Sorry for the glare there. They're kind of primers, but they're like a cream product. But the last time I used it, it was really messy. So I'm just going to go right into this dark brown. I am using the matte first. So I'm going to take it on an E27 just because it's a bit more precise and I don't want this shade too high up. But I am going to put this kind of high up towards the edge of my brow. So you're going to see me kind of veer off here, almost like a flat line. Then we're going to blend up towards the brow. And just kind of shaping my eye a bit. And just blending that out. So I'm not really bringing it towards the inner corner. You can see the difference here. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Kind of a flat line and bring it out towards the brow and then just blend. I applied a little bit more to that one. So we're just going to touch them both up until we get the desired shade here. And then I'm going to dip into Dune. Actually, let's go into, do we want Dune? Let's go into Noble. This is from the Rose Metals palette from Anastasia. And we're just going to bring this a little bit lower than that previous color. And we're just going to use this to deepen up the crease. And I am kind of bringing it towards the middle a bit, but I'm going to stick to the outer corner and on the outer part of the lid here. We've darkened that part up. So now what I'm going to do is take the same brush and dip into the Nars palette. And I'm going to go into the really bright red tone here. I'm not using any liquid here. I'm just going to dip in dry. And I'm putting this on the center of the lid. And we're going to blend it into that brown. Okay, and I'm just going to dip into this one that's a little bit more sparkly. It's got a lot of reflect in there, and I'm just going to pop that on the center of the lid. Again, it's just going on dry. Just going to brighten it up a little bit. And then I think we're going to use the really bright color in here, this one, and we're going to put it on the inner corner. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put some setting spray on it, and I'm going to dip it in the shade. Now this is like the really sparkly, pretty, bright shade, and we're going to put it right on the inner corner. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to that first brush and go back into the deep red and just kind of blend that inner part out so that it's not kind of taking over the eye here. Okay, and then I'm also going to go back into the dark brown in this palette here and just bring it into the crease a little bit more. It's always good to go back if you want to reassess just to see what more your look needs. Okay, so I'm going to take a clean brush and blend that out. And remember, if you haven't done your makeup yet, it doesn't really matter how far it gets out of hand because you can always clean it up with some concealer or a makeup wipe. Okay, so then we're going to clean up the brow area here. You can also use some powder to blend that out. I think we might have to. So the eyes are done. As far as I'm going to do with shadow for the upper lid, we're going to come back and do the lower lid after we're done our makeup. So with makeup, I've decided to use this Haus Labs Triclone Skintech foundation. The shade of this one that I'm really loving for my skin right now is 260 Light Medium Cool. So I'm just going to shake it, and we're going to apply it with a sponge. Kind of cancels out all the redness of my skin, which I really love because it is a cool shade after all. And what I do, my trick here is I put one pump on this side of my face, one pump on this side, and whatever's left on the sponge is what I use to bring up onto my forehead. But I don't really add tons on my forehead because I just don't want it to get into my expression lines or anything. Okay, and then when we're done blending this out, we're going to go in with a concealer. I think today I'm going to use this one. This is the Natasha Denona HY-Glam. This is the shade N6. So I'm going to put this underneath my eyes. And it's got a little bit of a cool pink tone, so it's really going to help to cover up my under eye circles. And it's going to add a little bit of that brightness that pink usually gives to skin tones. Okay, you can see the difference already. Okay, so then I'm going to set my skin with some setting spray. Lately, I've really been not really using much powder, to be quite honest. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do my eyebrows, and we're going to do contour. Okay, so let's do eyebrows first. Lately, I've really been loving my Urban Decay Brow Blade. Mine is in the shade Cool Cookie, and I don't use the pen tip, I use the pencil. It just seems to go on better than the Brow Wiz by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's a little bit less waxy, and I just shape. I usually start, oops, there was part of it. I usually start at the front, and I shape the front of my brow, try to make them as even as I can. And then I butterfly stroke at the bottom, and I work my way up to the top of the arch. I do the second brow the same way, and then I kind of come back to the top of the brow. Okay, and then if I've missed any areas, I just fill them in. And then I usually start at the tail end of a brow, and I work my way backwards towards the arch. So then I take my brow gel, and this just helps keep the hairs in place so that your brows look normal and like it stays where you've put your like pencil, because then you always want to kind of use your brow hairs if you can to cover up. Kind of, I guess you use this one to blend it in, but also just to cover up. You can like really move the brow hairs to cover up where you've put the product. It's kind of like a good tip to make it look like it's all hair and not pencil. Okay, and then we need to do some contour. My contour of choice lately has just been my Nars Laguna bronzing cream. This is Laguna 3. I've just been really loving this one. So I take my sponge, and you can see how much I've used. You can't really tell from here, but it's a big divot in the center of it. I take the tip of the sponge and kind of draw a line where my cheekbone kind of indents the most. And I try to draw it as straight as I can, but mine kind of curve up, so I do a little curve. A lot of people will tell you to do it higher up rather than lower because you don't want to drop your face. You want to like lift it up. But I think you just need to do it based on your face shape, because I think it's hard because everybody's face is different. Yeah. So I put some underneath my nose, just in the areas where it would be shadowed down here. And then on the sides of my nose, up to my brows here. Under my lip a little bit. And then we take this and we do the temples, and you want to blend it into the contour on your cheek. Okay, and then you just keep contouring or adding a little bit more product until it looks good. I always just do like the perimeter around my hairline because then it kind of like makes your face, the front of your face, a little bit more prominent, and then it kind of brings back the rest. And right now it looks funny and my eyebrows look overdone, but once we get lashes on and liner, it'll look good. All right, I think that's good for contour. Sometimes I'll put some underneath the jaw too. It's kind of like hides your jaw if it's like something that you want to hide. Okay, and then I think we're going to do liner on the eyes. So I'm going to pick something. I'd rather do black. I think maybe black would be our best bet tonight because I want to make my eyes really pop. Because I'm also wearing a black shirt, so I want it to match with my shirt. So I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade, this is 100 Whatever Black. So I'm just going to line my waterlines and we'll be right back. Our lining is done. We're going to wrap up the under eyes. So I think what I want to do here is a sparkly brown. So I'm going to go back into the Patrick Ta palette and we're just going to go into this shade here. So it's like the complement of the dark brown shade we used, but now it's got a little bit more, I feel like a little more red tone in there. And I'm going to use this brush here. It's a little bit bigger, but well, let's see. Do I have a smaller brush? Here, I'll use this little one. This is an eye shading brush. So I'm not going to wet it or anything. At first, I'm just going to press the brown shade into the liner and the lashes on the lower lash line. Okay, so I just kind of blended it a little bit, but I think that's good. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to see if there's any fallout and wipe that away. And we're going to spray our face one more time. Or maybe let's do blush and then we'll do a spray. So for blush, I've really been liking this Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Plumping Blush Veil in the shade Just Peachy. So this is going to match with my eyes better than if I used a pinker color. And again, it is a cream blush. So I'm going to put my makeup sponge right in the product, just like so. And I start kind of on the top of my cheekbone, and I work my way up to my temple. I don't come down close to my nose, but we can blend it out after. Put a little bit on the nose. Okay, and then we're going to do a quick spray. Fan the face dry. Okay, so we're going to do highlighter, but first what I want to do is some liquid liner on the upper lash line. So this is to make the lash line look darker, but it's also going to help the lashes adhere better to my eye. Okay, so that was perfect. So I'm going to go and do mascara and we're going to put lashes on. We'll be right back after these are on. So now that this is done, I'm going to line my lips and we're going to do some nude lips today. I feel like nude lips. My favorite lip liner right now, like in the world, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in Cool Brown. It's a pencil liner. Okay, so I overline a little bit, but not enough where like I cover my Cupid's bow. I don't like that look. So I'm going to use a Morphe lipstick. This is like, I never use this. I used to use my Jeffree Star liquid one, but it's all gone. So this is the shade, it's a cream lipstick and it's the shade Flirt. So I'm just going to dab it on the inner, like the inner part of my lip. And then I'm going to blend my lips together. You could also use a lip brush to do this, or you can use your finger, but it will take away from that line. So, let's see if I have another brush I can use. And now for highlighter. So I still go back to my favorite of all time, but you know, because of the way my eyes look right now, I think I'm going to use a different one. Also, I want to touch up with some powder blush too, I think. I'm going to use the Milani Baked Blush. This is the shade 05 Luminoso. I'm just going to use a little bit of this to brighten my cheeks. And then, okay, I'm going to go into my Benefit Palette Cheek Stars Reunion Tour, and I want to go into the shade Cookie. So this is the highlighter that I love it almost as much as I do my Mary Lou. So I'm just going to take a small little brush and put this on the inner corner. It's very bright. It's like bam, in your face, headlight bright. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little highlighter brush, and we're going to do the nose. I'm going to go very light on this. I'm not going to overdo it here, because at this line it's a little easy to overdo. Okay, on the cheekbones. Okay, and then also just a little bit on the brow. I'm not even applying any new, I'm just putting a little bit, a little touch underneath the brow. Okay, and that is it. So I'm going to do one more setting spray. Do a little fan, and we are all done. This makeup look took 41 minutes with me talking. If I wasn't talking, it probably would have taken a little bit shorter. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you are new, please subscribe. Click on the bell button, and I will see you guys in the next week's video. Happy date night if you're going out too, and stay safe. Talk to you next week. I